Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it's good to be back in Davos. Your focus this year is on collaboration for the intelligent age, and it is a noble vision. But let's face it, when many people look around the world, they don't see much collaboration, and perhaps, to their minds, not enough intelligence. Despite progress on many fronts, investment in renewables, technological leaps, health advances, many of our world's problems are getting worse. We are living in an increasingly rudderless world. Last week, I delivered my annual priority speech to the General Assembly, and I said that our world is facing a Pandora's box of troubles. We face widening geopolitical divisions, rising inequalities, and assault on human rights. And we see a multiplication of conflicts, some of which are leading to the reshaping of different parts of the world, not least the Middle East. And there is finally a measure of hope when a ceasefire and hostage release deal in Gaza takes place, and we are working to surge up desperately needed humanitarian aid. I was also just in Lebanon, where a cessation of hostilities is holding and a new government is taking shape after 2 years of stalemate. From the Middle East to the Ukraine to Sudan and beyond, we still face an uphill battle. But we will never give up in calling for peace, but peace grounded on values. The UN Charter, international law, including international humanitarian law, and the principles of sovereignty, political independence, and territorial integrity of states. Meanwhile, developing countries are in economic dire straits. Some are facing double-digit inflation rates, while interest payments in Africa are earning up 27% of all government revenues. On every front, our system of governance are often ill-equipped to deal with these challenges. Many were built for a different era, a different economy, and a different world. We are working to reform institutions for the 21st century, from the global financial architecture to the UN Security Council, two basic aspects of our summit of the future. But reforming institutions requires a reform in mindsets, because we face big challenges, existential challenges, and I'm not convinced leaders get it. Yes, we all understand the nature of an existential threat. Those of us who lived through the Cold War remember the decades spent living under the constant shadow of nuclear annihilation. Of course, the nuclear threat is still with us. But when it comes to existential threats, nuclear is no longer alone. Today we face two new and profound threats that demand far more global attention and action because they threaten to upend life as we know it: the climate crisis and the ungoverned expansion of artificial intelligence. First, climate chaos. I recently saw an analysis that exposed the grim irony. 13 of the world's biggest ports for oil supertankers will be overwhelmed by rising sea levels. Rising seas, which are caused by rising temperatures, and rising temperatures, which are overwhelmingly caused by burning fossil fuels. Our fossil fuel addiction is a Frankenstein monster, sparing nothing and no one. All around us, we see clear signs that the monster has become master. We just endured the hottest year and the hottest decade in history. 2024 is likely to be the first calendar year that's pushed back past 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. Now, breaching this limit does not mean the long-term goal of keeping the rise in global temperature to 1.5 degrees is shot. It means we need to fight even harder to get on track, especially when we are seeing today sea level rise, heat waves, floods, storms, droughts and wildfires, and that are just a preview of the horror movie to come. A world where every economy feels the pain of supply chains severed, of infrastructure destroyed, of higher prices and higher insurance premiums, or no insurance at all. At the same time, another far more hopeful story is unfolding. Cheap, plentiful energy provided by renewables is an extraordinary economic opportunity, one that will benefit people in every country, and then that will make the end of the fossil fuel age inevitable, no matter how hard vested interests try to stop it. A number of financial institutions and industries are backtracking on climate commitments. And here at Davos, I want to say loudly and clearly that this is short-sighted. And paradoxically, it is selfish, but also self-defeating. You are on the wrong side of history. You are on the wrong side of science. And you are on the wrong side of consumers who are looking for more sustainability, not less. This warning certainly also applies to the fossil fuel industry and advertising, lobbying and PR companies who are aiding, abetting and greenwashing. Global heating is racing forward and we cannot afford to move backward. And government must keep their promise to produce new economy-wide national climate action plans this year, well ahead of COP30 in Brazil. And those plans must align with limiting the rise in global temperatures to 1.5 degrees, including by accelerating global energy transition. We also need a surge in finance for climate in developing countries to adapt to global heating, to slash emissions and seize the benefits of the renewables revolution. We need to tackle high capital costs that are leaving developing countries behind. And I also urge all businesses and financial institutions to create robust, accountable transition plans this year. These too must align with 1.5 degrees and with the full recommendations of the United Nations High-Level Expert Group on Net Zero. To the corporate leaders who remain committed to climate action, your leadership is needed now more than ever. Do not back down. Stay on the right side of history. Now is the time to shift our collective efforts into overdrive and make 2025 the biggest year yet for climate action. The second area of existential concern is ungoverned artificial intelligence. Yes, AI holds untold promise for humanity, revolutionizing learning, advancing healthcare, and diagnosing illness earlier, supporting farmers with smarter tools to boost productivity, clearing landmines and better targeting aid in times of crisis. These are real results happening right now. But with this promise comes profound risk, especially if AI is left ungoverned. AI can be used as a tool of deception. It can disrupt economies and labor markets, undermine trust in institutions, and have chilling effects on the battlefield. And AI could deepen inequalities by excluding those without the resources or tools to benefit from its promise. Once again, collaboration is critical. The Global Digital Compact, adopted in September at the United Nations, offers a roadmap to harness the immense potential of digital technology and close digital divides. It also brings the world together around a shared vision for artificial intelligence, one where this technology serves humanity, not the other way around. The concept establishes the first universal agreement on the governance of AI that brings every country to the table. It includes the creation of an independent international scientific panel on AI, pooling expertise to bridge knowledge gaps and help every nation make the most informed AI policy decisions. The Compact also calls for a periodic global dialogue on AI governance as an inclusive space for stakeholders to come together under the auspices of the United Nations. And it also foresees a network of capacity-building initiatives for developing countries, which have the most at stake as AI-driven systems grow and expand. And we must collaborate so that all countries and people benefit from AI's promise and potential to support development and social and economic progress for all. By investing in affordable internet, digital literacy, and the infrastructure that allows every country to harness AI's potential. By helping developing countries use AI to grow small businesses, improve public services, and connect communities to new markets. And by placing human rights always at the center of AI-driven systems. The United Nations is committed to leading these efforts, and we are working with governments, industry, and civil society to ensure that AI becomes a tool of opportunity, inclusion, and progress for all people. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to wake up to these existential challenges and face them head-on, and transform them in sources of progress and welfare for everybody. As a global community, we must live up to this great responsibility, and let's do so by working as one, in collaboration, as the motto of the World Economic Forum. Thank you, and I look forward to our discussion today.